Hi, I'm Lawrence. Welcome back. So today we're going to discuss some of the problems that foreigners often have when learning Chinese. So Chinese is a language much different than perhaps anything that you learn in school. So like, for example, in school, I learned Latin and Spanish. And when you're looking at Spanish or Latin, a lot of the words look similar to English words. You can kind of guess like what certain words mean. It's not so different than English. So like Spanish might have some accent marks. Yeah, it's a little different, but it's pretty similar, right? It's so different though for Chinese. Chinese is, first of all, it's a tonal language. So if you're using the wrong tones, you are going to be not understood very well, if at all. And it can lead to some embarrassing encounters if you do use the wrong tones, if people can understand you at all. So it's really important as foreigners that we understand, okay, when we're speaking Chinese, we can't just speak it the way we speak in English. We can't just say those Chinese words, but say it in an English way. That's one of the pitfalls a lot of people learning Chinese that they fall into is this. They say it just like in English, but you can't. You have to say it with the right tones. So let me give you an idea of what I mean when I say tones. Okay, so this is from my book, Mastering Mandarin. And there are there's five tones in Mandarin. The fifth tone is actually neutral, but the four tones are the major ones. And so the first tone is just high pitch level and flat. So for example, ma, ma, like that. Okay. It sounds maybe a little bit feminine, high because it's higher pitched, and it's a cute tone. I like it. The next one is the second tone. And the second tone sounds like a question. So like everything you're saying is like this when you're using second tone. So think of like a valley girl asking a question. So this would be ma, 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 right? Then we have the third tone. The third tone is a really interesting one. It is a little bit difficult. You're kind of, yeah, in the textbooks, it'll say it's like a U-shaped thing like this, but it doesn't. If you notice, it doesn't rise up to the same level as second tone. We're asking a question up high like that, going up to where the first tone is. It still goes up, but not as much. The important part of the third tone is this part right here. So, for example, ma, 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 ma. You have that like guttural sound in your throat here. That's really crucial for the third tone. And then we have the fourth tone, which is one of my favorite tones because you can just think of it as like an angry tone when you're yelling at someone. So like, no, no, don't do that. Like, do that. So the fourth tone, it's like, ma, ma, ma. Okay. So there you have the four tones. And then there's a fifth tone, which is just ma, ma. Not like the first tone, ma. And it's just like a very neutral ma, very quick, nothing going up or down or anything like that. Actually, in Cantonese, there's even more tones, and it can get really, really difficult, really interesting. But for Chinese, you need to know these tones, and it is really important if you want to be understood and make sure you're saying the right thing. Because with Mandarin, when you're speaking, many of the words will have different meanings. So for example, for the ma, 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 there's in ma, the fifth tone is like a question participle. The fourth tone is when you're like scolding somebody. The third tone is for a horse. The second tone is for hemp. And the first tone is for mother, mom. So these are all radically different things. So saying the right tone is really crucial. And actually in Chinese, there's many words that even have the same pinyin, right? The same way of saying it, and they have the same tone. So yeah, if that's going to be a situation, which it is, you better be sure that when words have different tones, that you say them differently with the proper tone to be best understood by native speakers. So next we have one of the more complicated characters. This is actually a traditional character. so it's even more crazy. But even the simplified one is quite intense. So for this character, this is the biang, as in like a type of noodles. Okay, biang character, and as you can see, it is very overwhelming. So now, not all Chinese characters are this complex, of course, but this is just a wonderful example how when someone who's not a native speaker, they're trying to learn Chinese and they see a character like this or something even half as difficult, and they're like, "Oh my God, what is this? This is a mess." Actually, it's difficult. Yeah, it is difficult, and a lot of them look similar at first until you see how to break it down further. So with a character like the Biang character, you can break it down into these little radicals. So we have like this one here, and that goes here. And this tells us, without going into too much detail, you can read the book to find out more examples. But you can break down even the most complex characters into small parts. So these components or radicals will sometimes tell you about the character, and you can break it down. You'd be like, oh, the Biang character, okay, it has this moving character here, this thing going on here. It has the moon character here. Okay. Here it has the horse character. Oh, here's a heart character, radical, whatever. And you can break it down into further parts. This will help you break down characters. So learning characters is really important because even if you just want to speak, if you want to explain what word you're trying to say, a lot of native speakers will break it down by describing the type of characters, the type of radicals within that character to explain what character they're talking about if it's ambiguous. So that's important. Also, of course, if you want to communicate on WeChat and communicate with Chinese people, you're going to need to learn how to type. And hopefully, if you could write, that would be fantastic. But at the very least, learn how to write and distinguish which characters are which. And if you want to go ahead and read subtitles for movies, read Chinese books, newspapers, whatever, you're just going to have to do it. It's tough. A lot of people are like, oh no, I just want to learn how to speak and listen. That's enough for me. I'm telling you, there's very few people out there. I don't really know any actually that can speak in fluently, can have a really fluent conversation about advanced topics and whatnot, and they can't read or write. I don't know anyone like that. So my advice to you is just get to it. Just start doing the characters and move beyond just saying, okay, I just want to, communicate with verbally, and I don't need to read or write. But come on, you could do better than that. So learn your characters. Okay, and the third challenge that a lot of people face when they're trying to learn Chinese is, okay, I know I have to learn the tones, I know I have to learn the characters, but I have no time. I have my significant other, I have my kids, I have work, all these things that makes learning Chinese even more difficult. I never learned it in school. I'm an adult now, whatever. This is difficult, but fortunately, it's solvable. So there are so many amazing polyglots that even in their 50s and 60s, they've learned so many languages, and they have the same things. They have their kids, they have a wife, they have a job, and they're still able to learn languages, even given that they're so busy with other things. So I'm going to go more into time management skills in a later video, but I believe that is an obstacle that many people have. It's like, yeah, I'd love to be fluent in Mandarin. That'd be so cool. Okay, but are you willing to give up some of your TV time to do that? Are you willing to give up playing some video games to do that? Or, what are you willing to do to rebalance your time and structure your life so that your entire life is in Chinese? It really comes down to how bad do you want it. And if you want it bad enough, then you have to make some changes to your time management. But we'll cover that in another video. So yeah, those are the three things that I think is most difficult for foreigners learning Chinese. You have the tones, the characters, and time management. So that's all for now, and look forward to seeing you next time. Take care, stay safe.
Hi everybody, please follow our channel, like our video, and give us thumbs up for the YouTube. Thank you. See you next time. Bye.